Hey champions, it is Tuesday. I hope you're having a great day. I am super tired. Yes, you really took it out of me. It turns out when you spend the entire weekend working on release stuff and going out to events, well, then you get a giant backlog of things to do on Monday. So that was my Monday. I was stuck in meetings, I was doing a bunch of urgent stuff, and a lot of that is spilling into today as well. So I'm kind of slammed, but I'm still trying to make time to release these vlogs on a regular basis because I know how great it is to have regular content to be able to continue talking about Genesis. But the thing I really get out of it, the thing I love the most, is the fact that so many of you are commenting on these videos. So many of you are interested in what I have to say, and I want to connect with the community. I want you to feel like you can get regular updates from me. So let's talk about some updates. Trying to think what videos came out yesterday. I know of one. I did an interview with Kitchen Table TCG. I know I talked about it in yesterday's vlog. It did go live. It was a great talk. And the amount of support that I got from people afterwards, everyone commenting, messaging me saying, it was a great interview. I love your perspective on that. I love your outlook on this. I connect with your vision and connect with your dream. So much of it was really, really awesome. I walked away with a lot of wins from that conversation. Something I really loved is now if you go to the Kitchen Table TCG YouTube channel and you look at their banner, Genesis is on there now. So that feels like a huge win to me. I cannot show enough gratitude to Louis and George, but also to all the people who brought us this far. I'm actually going to give a huge shout out to Jeremy at Forbes Hobbies, Steve-O at Heads or Tails, Jay at Black Knight Games, Jason at North of Exile, Tristan at Game Night Leagues, and there's so many more. Julian from BD Cosmos. So many people who picked up the game prior to distribution, not knowing where it's going to go, taking a huge risk, in my opinion, of buying is for some of the sets, 24 boxes, 30 boxes, not knowing what the community size is going to look like. Oh, how can I forget Alex from Dragon World? So many people took the chance and joined me for those early days when I would post up a video like this, and I would get excited if we got 5 views on it. So I'm spending a lot of time in the past few weeks reminiscing on how far we've come. And one thing I tell my team, and one thing I'm telling you, and I tell everyone who joins this community, hold us accountable from what values we instilled at the beginning, and as we grow, what values we start holding in the end. Because there's some things that have changed along the way. Our pillars for what the game represents, those haven't changed, but new ones have come along. And then the other side is now we're starting to understand better and better who we represent and how we represent them, in talking about the market and talking about the players, talking about collectability, talking about the financial side of the TCG space. So much of that is starting to come under wraps. So if you hear us say something and then years later contradict ourselves, or months later, or days later, call me out on that. Don't just hold that back. Don't say, oh, they're changing. No, call me out and ask me why it's happening. Because if I can't give you a good answer, then that's a bad sign. That's where we don't want to go down. We don't want the seeds of destruction, which sound really cool and should be the name of a card, but we don't want the seeds of destruction to start creeping in to our design space. So that being said, thank you, Louis. Thank you, George. Thank you, Jordan, for allowing me to speak with you on such an amazing interview. That was a lot of fun. Another thing that was really cool, and this is more of an internal company win, but there were some stores we partnered with way back in the day, and they would just buy 1-2 boxes at a time, just trying to churn products slowly, not knowing where the game was going to go, having faith in me, but not having faith that the product would sell all the time. And I get that. I completely get that. And I appreciate their support. I appreciate the time they took to sit down with me, learning the game, talking to me about business, and helping the game grow. But recently I've been getting a lot of messages from them saying, hey, we're out of inventory. We want to order more. But the distributors are out of inventory and they're in the process of reordering, but we have a demand right now. What can we do? And it's just really cool being able to have those conversations with them and know that their communities are still growing and thriving and that the demand is there. So let's continue to make a great game. Let's do that together, and let's just have fun. That being said, the other thing I want to jump into, really cool, and I'll make the transition now. So our wonderful friend Ben Trading Card, met him at the Dragon World event. He came, had this letter for me. I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but just in case there's something else special in this, I want to put it up on camera so you can see what I got. So I'm going to take this off screen for a second. You can look at that wonderful table as I slowly open this. I wish I had my letter opener. I have this really cool letter opener that's like dragon head thing. I'm like, it's so awesome. Oh, look at that. There's a card. And so we got ourselves the signed stock token and the signed Foresight of the Ancient. I love it. Actually, one of the coolest things is this is one of my favorite arts in the game. And I had a lot of fun with the flavor text. This was the card. This art and this flavor text is when I decided that the five ancient ones who had code names for them behind the scene. We were trying to figure out what to call them in the actual story and the actual lore. I'll see if I can zoom in. I know it's having a hard time. But it was with this card that we figured out that we wanted to give the names of those ancient ones the names of the affiliations so that there's the one-to-one relationship. So there's the five spirits that haunt Rain, the five shadows, the shadows of the ancient ones, if you know her conduit. And they're the detached shadows or essences of the five ancient ones that walked the world originally. And they whisper to her and kind of tell her false truths or show her realities that she may not want to experience. And the quote here is really cool for that. So just a little bit of the flavor that I love about that. So let's read this together. And this is from Ben. Hi, Assad. I'm so grateful to be a member of GenesisBoC. The great support from you and the team made me realize that there are still TCG companies out there who appreciate the hard work that we do. Me and my boys love the game so much, they will cover Genesis one day on their channels. As you've requested, here's the signed cards from me. It's my first signed card to be given to the creator himself. It's completely surreal. Keep up the great work and your contribution to the TCG industry. I think that this game will continue to thrive for the next centuries because of the unique gameplay. Thank you for the promos you've provided, which will help me grow BTC, Ben Trading Cards. I will continue to support GenesisBoC and spread the great game you've created. More nice. This is awesome, Ben. I love it. I love your support. I think this is something I personally will find a way to get this framed and get this up on display somewhere. Because one thing I don't think a lot of people realize is that on one end, it's really cool to give out the signed cards, and it's interesting for me to personally be at a point in my life where people get signed cards from me and they're like, this is amazing. I want to frame it. I want to put it up. But I don't think you all realize how exciting it is for me to get signed cards from you. When all the content creators are going away giving their promo cards, they're like, leave a comment below and you get your signed promo card. So I left a comment below. I didn't win anything. How come I didn't win anything? All right, let's come back. Actually, let's jump into the card spotlight. So today, the spotlight card that I want to talk about. So again, thank you, Ben, so much for your card. It was wonderful. And I'm really, really excited to put that up on display. As the game grows, this is going to keep me humble and remind me where we are and how amazing the community is. Ben, I love working with you. So let's talk about the spotlight today. Today, I want to talk about Subjugation Strike. So Subjugation Strike, this has a fun history. Lionel loved the name of the card, Subjugation Strike, but couldn't find a mechanic that truly worked for it. And we went back and forth, and eventually we settled on this one where I told him to push this card and really turn it into an opportunity to be the nail in the coffin for a lot of the big threats and a lot of the big summons. So let's start with this artwork done by Philip. Absolutely amazing. It has definitely his style, his tone, especially if you see all the artwork he does about Fong. There's a particular feel to them that he carries through on all of them, that it feels very succinct with what he does. So love this artwork. Going into its original print in Welcome to Jalara, let's check out what this card does. So at 8 chi, forward awareness, and Bellum, you got a technique. At action speed, you can do heavy holy attack 5, and all it costs is exert. But at swift speed, you got a cast that costs 16 aura, and you can do 6 holy damage to a target in subjugation, strikes, and awareness. Now the advantage you got here is, like Meteorite, this card is one of the few cards out there that splits up and allows you to do multiple costs or multiple scales on the same card. So this card's very versatile. 16 aura is not a lot of aura for the amount of damage output that you got here. It's phenomenal how much damage you can put out. And the nice part about this is it's always a great trick up the sleeve. If you suspect your opponent for having some sort of evasion, bait them in with a card like Gut Punch, a card like Psychic Assault. Neurum I guess Kendra can't play Subjugation Strike, but anything that is low impact, low damage, but is scary enough that your opponent's gonna avoid it. Like, they're gonna avoid a Gut Punch if they can, because then it stuns them if they don't. Or Brook Naga's attack, because they don't want to be paralyzed. So find a way to bait their evasion, and then substrike them afterwards. That way you guarantee the damage in. The other thing you can do, depending on how big of a play you have in your hand, you can always drop the substrike to begin with, and that forces their evasion. That forces them to try to find a way out of it. Most people are going to evade substrike when they have the opportunity. So this card, again, like I said, artwork done by Philip, card design done by Lionel, and we'll be able to see that when we get to the J2 version of it. So let's switch over to the J2. This card went from being an uncommon up to a rare. Much like every other card in J2 moving forward, the attack abilities are not going to have the reminder text unless they're drain attacks or a new type of what do you call them, drain attacks, or any of these alternate styles of attacks that have really finicky rule text. But if it's heavy, you know that it's doing heavy damage and its action speed. All the other elements are the same, and then area does area damage. So everything's the same on this. The flavor text does change, and the flavor text does reference a particular chapter in the Akasha Codex. So if you want to know where that's from, go read that chapter, because the chapters are absolutely amazing. Again, we see the artwork, but now we can actually see the author's name in the bottom right corner, and it does say Lionel's name on it. This card moved up from uncommon to a rare, and the reason behind that is because Bellum as a whole, there are a lot of cards that stand out as really powerful cards in Bellum, but when it comes to the sheer damage output, Bellum does accelerate in what it's doing in the technique space. Between Bolt Shot, Hurricane Sweep, Mystical Spear, Subjugation Strike, it can dish out a lot of damage. It's really, really great for a fighter. But this card has a very special place because it's a 1-for-1 exchange against Angels of Retributions. There aren't a lot of cards out there that allow you to do that, and this card having that advantage is very powerful. The fact that you get the Heavy Holy Attack 5, which is free, no matter where you are in game state, you always have the ability to pay the cost for the Heavy Holy Attack after the card's drawn. Of course, if you're exerted prematurely and stuff like that, you can't do that. But the point being here, like, if you run out of aura and you only have 3 cards left in your timeline, and you draw your next card, leaving you with 2 cards left, you can still play Substrike. And that is phenomenal. That there are very, very few cards that give you that kind of advantage and this kind of damage output, which could swing a game or even just win you the game. I know there's a lot of talks about how amazing Kabus is, but Kabus can't do that. This card did have a promo version, which was given out to Patreon members when this card was stolen uncommon. And in that version, you get the nice epic treatment with the fact that the text box is condensed and much more see-through. But also, this card was shown borderless, so you're able to get that art extended to the very edge of the card. There weren't many of these given out, so if you had an opportunity to get yourself the promo Subjugation Strike, good on you, because it looks absolutely amazing, and I hope you find time to run this in your timeline. That is everything I have to show you for Subjugation Strike. That's all the updates for today. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you continue being awesome. You find time to enjoy the game. And yeah, there are a lot of cool things happening right now. This is just kind of extra conversations as I let the name of the Patreon members kind of roll on by. But our Patreon subscription has grown massively. Like starting at the beginning of next month, this list is going to be really large. I think we hit 60 Patreon members. And for that, I'm going to do something cool. I'm not going to announce what it is, but I'm going to do something cool. Oh, actually, while I have you here, if you stuck around to the end of this video, I'm actually going to show you something really cool because we needed to change up our process for what our Patreon stuffs are going to get for next month. And we're in debate of what our plans are going to be. But I think we've decided that, let me find it first. We decided what our promo is going to be, but I don't know where I put it. Ooh, this is a little bit sad. If you're really stuck around for this far, I'm kind of good on you. All right, I'll give a little teaser for it because I can't find the full card for it, but I'll show you the artwork of what we have in store for you. So for anyone who signed up to Patreon, next month's promo. Dun, dun, dun. I hope you're excited for that, and that you can and I'm going to throw in something special for everyone who's part of the Patreon program because we got so many people who joined this month, and I honestly never thought we'd get to a point where we have 60 Patreon members. So expect something really, really amazing in your next Patreon package. All right, that's it for today. I know this video went on really long. Thank you to everyone, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.